Welcome to the Dreamlands. We are back with some more Deserts of Kharak multiplayer, and this is going to be a 1 versus 1 versus Sparrow and Indigo. I should say between Sparrow and Indigo, two top tier players. I'm looking forward to this game quite a bit, and it's going to be the classic matchup of Coalition versus Gaalsien on a very, very cool map, Titan Passage. Now, there's two reasons I chose to cast this game, and the first is that we don't often see too many games with Indigo playing, which is unfortunate because he is a very, very strong player. In fact, I believe he won the very first ever Artifact Cup tournament, and after that I didn't really see too much of him, so I'm pretty excited to have an example of his play in this game. And of course his opponent is going to be Sparrow, who needs no introduction, a monstrously powerful player, an expert at Deserts of Kharak, so that's really cool. And just before we do player introductions, let's take a look at the map here. This is the second reason I chose to cast this game, because I have not yet had the opportunity to cast a match on this map. This is one of the newer maps, and in fact, you might recognize it from the campaign. Yes, this is Tauren Crater, not to be confused with the multiplayer map of the same name, but from the campaign, this is Tauren Crater. So it actually makes for a very, very cool and very unique multiplayer map. As you can see, the terrain features are very big and very open. So in contrast to a map like the Boneyard or Firebase Krill or even Kalash Teeth, which are quite small and have very tightly packed terrain features, Titan Passage here features very large sweeping dunes with very big open kind of lower ground areas between them. And just due to the sheer size of the map, like look at this map, it's massive. You'll often see very, very macro oriented games on this map. So with that said, there's a little bit of action going on in the middle of the map, but nothing decisive. So let's do player introductions. Spawning on the south side of Titan Passage, we have Sparrow, the one and only, playing as the Coalition, and his opponent, spawning on the north side, way over here, is Indigo, playing as the Gaussian. So once again, the Gaussian versus Coalition matchup, always a good time. And it looks as if Indigo, true to form, has been very aggressive, sent out his starting production cruiser and has been pumping out sand skimmers onto the map. And he made an attack on Sparrow here, but that was shut down quite nicely by the classic answer to the Gaussian sand skimmer rush, which is of course Coalition AAVs. 3 AAVs are on the field now, and they are pushing out into mid. So Sparrow was able to shut that down quite nicely. He is looking in a pretty strong position. I totally suspect that at this point, Indigo is going to fall back with his production cruiser and begin fabricating heavy railguns, which is exactly what he's doing. So pretty textbook play here by both players.
Support cruiser now.
Our Gaussian player Indigo very much playing the role of aggressor, and Sparrow following suit by defending that first push and pushing back with AAVs. You will see this very frequently. And nice positioning with the railgun. Look at that. He's able to fire right through this valley here and pummel this AAV. Constantly keeping it on the move too. Some really nice micro here and screening with his skimmers. This is exactly what you want to do in Gaussian. Very much a standard play. And it looks like on the back of that, Indigo was able to get production cruiser refinery mode, so now he is sitting on a full 2 base economy. And Sparrow's attack was completely decimated.
Armored vehicle has been destroyed.
So some nice back and forth there. But Indigo is looking in a very dominant spot here, and I'm pretty interested to see what tech path and unit composition Sparrow is going to choose for this match.
Armored assault online.
He seems to be content to stick with AAVs for the time being, which is nice because there are another wave of skimmers coming in. However, both players looking pretty tight, both sitting on 2 bases, or pardon me, that's just such a habit for me to say, 2 bases, sitting on 2 resourcing locations, so keeping pace economically.
Salvager online.
I think Sparrow has a choice here. He could either get railguns, or he could get LAVs, or he could get air. And it looks like, oh, he's already researched air, so he has researched strike fighter fabrication, and he is building strike fighters and LAVs. So that's pretty sweet. I like this composition a lot. LAV, AAV strike fighter versus sand skimmer railgun. Again, epic positioning with the railguns. Able to just single out each of Sparrow's AAVs. So Indigo showing his chops at DOK, looking pretty strong.
Light attack vehicle in service. Confirmed. Proceed to rally point. Secure location marked.
You know though, AAVs and a large amount of LAVs can totally actually stomp all over this composition. There really aren't that many skimmers here. So with a large swarm of LAVs, you can actually take out these skimmers quite easily and then focus down each of these railguns quite rapidly. And that's exactly what Sparrow's doing. He knows it. He is pumping out strike fighters, LAVs, and AAVs, so looks like he's gearing up for a big push. And it looks like both players have actually recycled their starting base runners, so neither player really interested in grabbing artifacts.
Light attack vehicle in service. Field logistics. Light attack vehicle enhancement.
A nice AAV here to guard the original mining location from Sparrow, just in case of any kind of sand skimmer flanks or run-bys. But we have a very, very big engagement brewing. And there's already anti-air on the field for Indigo, actually. So this is pretty nice. I quite like that. When I play Gaussian, I pretty much always research missile ships directly after railguns, because when you can assert dominance over the ground, you can almost expect your opponent to get air and try and capitalize on a window of opportunity to do significant damage to your forces. Looks like Indigo's going to get caught out of position here. Both players just kind of trying to maneuver for the most ideal engagement angle. Neither of them really able to commit at this time. Sparrow had to have spotted this missile ship, so he's going to have to be very careful about using his strike fighters. He already has 5 though, which is the magic number. I believe I've mentioned this before. 5. In fact, I just learned it recently. 5 strike fighters is what can kill a production cruiser in a single launch. And if you can manage to take out a Gaalsien production cruiser, you are in a good spot. However, Sparrow seems to be contained here a little bit, and that has allowed Indigo to advance to a 3. I'm just gonna, fuck it, I'm just gonna call it a 3 base economy. Everybody knows what that means. Even though there are no bases in this game, Indigo is now on a 3 base economy. He's mining from 3 locations, so he has a significant advantage over Sparrow in terms of economy. So he's gonna capitalize on that by trying to take this base runner and secure an artifact. We do have armor upgrades for these AAVs, so it's going to make it very difficult for these skimmers to do any damage to them. So just showing that game knowledge, he knows, Sparrow knows that 2 AAVs can hold this. Really, really nice look at Sparrow. Even though he's only mining off of 2 locations, he's all over the map. He has a ton of map vision, ton of map awareness and control. So even though he's boxed in a little bit, he's still holding his own pretty well, I'd say. Nice play from Indigo though. He was able to secure an artifact, so we do have a 1-0 lead. That base runner is forfeit though. And Sparrow looks like he is pushing out. He knows the timing. He wants to get these missile ships off the field so that the airways are clear and he can launch those strike fighters, and he's able to do it. He actually takes down both missile ships, so I would not be surprised to see some strike fighters launch right now. this would be the exact time that you'd want to do it. And Sparrow is just sending his LAVs right in, and they are cleaning house here. Really, really nice push by Sparrow. He's totally changed the dynamic of this game all of a sudden. These LAVs do have armor upgrades, so that is allowing them to stay in this engagement for a really long time. And here come those strike fighters. Oh man, all of Indigo's heavy railguns have gotten cleaned up. Here we go, 5 strike fighters. Magic number, they are going to take down this production cruiser. However, 2 production cruisers here on the front line. Really, really nice positioning from Indigo. He was able to bring up his 2nd production cruiser and just add a little bit of anti-air fire. But boom, production cruiser goes down, so a really, really nice push from Sparrow. Excellent play. He actually caused a massive, massive amount of damage. All of the railguns, a production cruiser, and like a ton of skimmers and salvagers.
Green light to proceed. Move.
That was very nicely done by Sparrow, and that's given him the room he needs to expand to a 3 base economy, keeping pace with Indigo.
Identified. Proceed to site. RUs identified.
However, Indigo did have an extra production cruiser. That's nice. So he's actually pretty far
Light attack vehicle in service.
still ahead in terms of economy, I would say, because Sparrow is just setting up his 3rd resourcing location, and that extra production cruiser allowed him to take the loss and continue mining at full efficiency here. So, pretty nice defense actually from Indigo.
Unidentified hostile incoming. Authenticate. Armored vehicle is taking fire.
What's it going to be? He only has so he's got the original power and the 2 from an artifact, so he hasn't been researching any more power, and he has yet another production cruiser on the field.
Coordinates confirmed.
That's crazy. He has a lot of production cruisers, 3. And Sparrow again with the mass LAV swarm.
Green line confirmed.
Take down this base runner.
Light attack vehicle online.
Order confirmed.
Man, never underestimate LAVs.
Enemy support craft.
They are a threat through the entire game. Oh lord, we have a honor guard cruiser in production.
Copy.
Very, very much a perfect example of your standard Gaussian play actually here. I probably could have used this as a build order guide if this replay was from Indigo's perspective, because this is like textbook Gaussian play right here.
Hostile light attack vehicle detected. Green line confirmed.
What do we got for upgrades? Oh my, we have maximum upgrades on these skimmers. But that high ground advantage, look at that, you cannot take that fight.
Waiting for eyes on to authenticate. On our light attack vehicle is under fire.
I don't think Sparrow wants to do this.
Vehicle destroyed.
But apparently he does. Look at him focus down. Wow, that was incredible.
Fire on the move.
Insane micro. He's just focusing down each of these skimmers so quickly.
Enemy railgun firing on friendly. Keep the speed up.
What an awesome fight. Oh!
Go, go.
That honor guard cruiser hit though, man. Holy shit. Oh man, 2 hits and that entire swarm of LAVs was decimated.
LAV down.
Look at this bad boy, man.
Preferable.
Undoubtedly one of the coolest units in the entire game.
New coordinates verified.
And just as a cool note that I want to mention, you know that an honor guard cruiser only has a crew of 10? So it's pretty much like a giant floating gun. There's only 10 people on here. Now compare that to the Coalition battle cruiser, which has a crew of 35. Yeah, it's like a giant gun platform. That's it. Just thought that was an interesting little thing. And what the hell do we have here? We've got 3 base runners? Awesome. So I don't know what this is going to be. Is this going to be like Sparrow's going to try and cap 3 artifacts at once? Which would be awesome if he could do that. And I mean, he probably can. There are a couple of missile ships on the field, but with another swarm of LAVs, he can actually push in here and do massive amounts of damage to this. And the air, if he can get rid of these 2 missile ships, strike fighters can wreck this honor guard cruiser. So this is very, very much anyone's game. It seems to have stabilized a little bit.
Base runner is en route. We need a turret set in place.
What have we got here? We've got 3 base runners moving out.
Make sure it's combat ready.
So he's getting turrets up.
Defend that area with the turret.
Very interesting. Watch this turret here.
We do not have enough RUs.
Awesome.
We have insufficient CUs.
Armor moving out.
So yeah, the game is stabilized for sure.
Armored assault operational.
I don't think this many AAVs, far be it for me to say. I mean, Sparrow is a very, very good player, top of the game. So yeah, I mean, maybe he can just storm in here with all these AAVs and smoke, cover his advance. Nice turret though. I like it. Look at these turrets. He's covering each of the artifacts with a turret. That is just really cool. If he can grab these these artifacts, he will be in a really good spot. He now has railguns as well.
Go for carrier.
Wow, this, oh my god, look at, he's got 9 strike fighters. Lord, man. He's got 9 strike fighters, a ton of AAVs, LAVs, railguns. How many honor guard cruisers do we have on the field? Oh, we have 3 honor guard cruisers.
Capacity deployable out.
Damnation, look at this.
We lack sufficient RUs.
I knew this game was going to be a good one.
Vehicle visually authenticated. We've got hostile on sensor. Confirm visual.
Strike fighter
This is
ready
going to be
for
a
service.
big fight.
Alert. Hostile battle cruiser inbound. Hostile railguns opened up. We got a railgun under fire.
Sparrow needs to separate his railguns here.
Railgun lost.
Punishing fire.
Railgun operational.
Armor vehicle taking effective fire. The turret is under fire. Alert. The turret post just went down.
Strike fighter coordinates dialed in.
Armored vehicle has
man.
been destroyed. Systems online.
This is
Ready to
so
burn.
brutal, these honor guard cruisers,
Research
man.
completed.
Pretty much nothing on the ground can crest this dune right now. They just can't do it.
Deploy a turret
And it looks
on
like
location. En route.
Sparrow is launching all of his interceptors. He probably wants to snipe one of these honor guard cruisers, but with 3 missile ships on the field, that is going to be really difficult. Oh, and just takes a bad angle of engagement, unless he can snipe. There he goes. Just a little bit of micro. Boom. He's going to be able to take out each of those missile ships. Nicely done.
Combat alert. Support craft lost.
And he's actually going to be successful in forcing Indigo back yet again.
Cruiser sighted. Engage and destroy.
What a fight, man. And this is what I'm talking about with this map. You can see how much of an impact these huge terrain features have on the style of play.
Construction resources exhausted.
That's why Sparrow is putting a couple of turrets down here that are going to cover the top of this dune so units can't come across. And that's exactly what, on the other side of this big terrain feature, exactly what Indigo is doing with his honor guard cruisers and heavy railguns. But he's now looking to take up a position where, oh man, oh, huge honor guard cruiser hits. That was awesome. Sparrow's entire army is gone now,
Alert.
and there are 4 honor guard cruisers.
Enemy railgun firing on friendly.
Friendly vehicle has lost possession of
I
an
just don't know
artifact.
what Sparrow can do at this point, to tell you the truth.
Carrier.
I mean, artillery would be very, very good, but he doesn't have assault cruiser fabrication. He would need to get assault cruiser fabrication first and then artillery cruisers. So I don't think that's going to work. He doesn't have the power for a cruise missile, so things are looking pretty grim for Sparrow. Now, Indigo is supremely dominant over this map.
Move order confirmed. Alert. Sensor post lost. Live unit being uplifted. Alert.
Sparrow's just losing too many. He's not losing any strike fighters. The hell am I talking about?
New heading set.
He has so many strike fighters.
Destroyed.
He did lose 2, 3. Oh, that's why. Honor Guard cruisers have their anti-air researched. And their anti-air is vicious. Look at that.
Coordinates
Boom.
confirmed. Carrier moved. Seal hatch.
Alright, so Sparrow has one chance to make something happen before he is completely wiped off of this map.
Unidentified contact. Designate as hostile. Enemy light attack vehicle marked on approach. Hostiles designated. Trackers assigned. Moving to site. Construction units identified.
I mean, Sparrow's flanks are wide open right now. Indigo knows it. He can just come in here with these skimmers and clean all of this stuff up. And Sparrow doesn't have really any hope of engaging. I think this is pretty much Indigo's game at this point.
Immediate fire support on that position. On the move.
This carrier is going to die very, very quickly to this amount of railguns.
Prime charges. Salvager.
I highly anticipate this being the last battle of the game, so let's watch this in full cinematic glory.
Sentry post taking fire.
I mean, Indigo is still being pretty timid here. You can just bring these honor guard cruisers right onto this side of the dune and pummel that carrier.
We have insufficient CUs.
New sector designated. Move out.
But he has totally cleaned up the entire economy. This is definitely over.
Command carrier taking fire.
It's like Sparrow's trying to go for one last valiant push.
Strike systems online.
That is not going to happen, though. Even a carrier, like, with massive power upgrades cannot take this many honor guard cruisers. He only has one chance at this, actually. If he just takes his carrier and tries to kill... Oh, that's exactly what he's doing. If he tries to kill Indigo's carrier, he could do it. And if that happens, I will probably just lose my shit, because that would be insane.
Authentication pending.
But I really don't think his carrier is going to make it.
Weapon range systems offline. Weapon systems offline.
Alert. Carrier hull at 50% integrity.
Armor systems.
These honor guard cruisers are going to absolutely just punish that carrier. There it goes. You can see it exploding in the distance.
Repeat. Command carrier needs support.
No, that wasn't it? Okay, that was something else exploding. That's cool. That means we get to watch these honor guard cruisers for even a little bit longer. We now have overlapping fields of fire. There are railguns up on this dune here. Sand skimmers moving in for the kill.
Light attack vehicle detected.
Indigo senses blood. This is the last desperate push of the coalition carrier, and it is going to go down in a spectacular explosion. And very, very nice game. Hope you guys enjoyed that much as I did. If you liked this video, smash that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, follow me on Twitter, and I will see you again next time. Peace out.